is like the perfect example of one that got hit like super hard with the rules, with the changes, with the events, with the quarantine, the corona. Like your entire line of business is entirely affected by everything that we're doing, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's been like a whole monumental change for like your entire everything, your income, how you're servicing people. You just had a 500-person event that you just can't do, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, I mean, that's kind of what they started hitting first, as you know, like the outdoor events and the gatherings. And then they started, going after gyms, restaurants, that kind of stuff. Anything where there's a larger amount of people gathered, and they've just continued. You know how it is. It started off with like 1,000, and then it went to 500, and then 250, and then now all of a sudden it's like less than 10, whatever it is. I mean, they all vary, but yeah. So I actually had a fitness event, and that's how I got started in this whole fitness stuff. Anyway, I started putting on events. Well, we had an event on supposed to be March 21st, 22nd, 500 people.
Yep.
And a week out, they made me cancel it. And I was like, man.
This was the second event you had to cancel, right? Because when we were at Funnel Hacking, you were thinking about you had to cancel. Was that the same event or a different event?
That was the same one.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, that's the same one. So they forced my hand. I wanted to, at the time they made me cancel it, I was still going to do it. But like fast forward a week and like everything was like shutting off, and it was really, that was like the crucial window when this thing was, like mid-March is when everything started getting crazy.
Yep.
So when they shut it off, I was kind of, frustrated. But then like that next week, I was like, there's no chance they would have let us do this.
Yeah, not even close.
But it's not only events. I mean, it's gyms and all this kind of stuff. Where these gym owners are definitely scrambling.
Yep.
But as you know, with every situation like this, there's also some big upside as well.
Yep. Like I know people, you've seen it. Like, I don't know if David Getzinger went live yet, but he just signed like a $21K deal because he like drastically changed his fulfillment. Joshua Brummel's landing deals. It's happening 2 or 3 times a week, but that's because like it depends upon whether or not you can massively adjust your business. And you're seeing people like the gym space massively adjust their business, like Zoom calls or online coaching or something like that, right? Which
I think totally. And I was going to say, from my perspective, a couple thoughts on that, going to what you just said. Number one, yes, they're having to kind of shift over. And honestly, this is something that gym owners should have done like a while ago, because it's not just like in person that they can service people.
Yeah.
And this is also kind of reiterating to them that it's not just about workouts. People can go get free workouts anywhere.
Yep.
Where the money is, it's in like the accountability,
the
nutrition, like the one-on-one stuff. That's where the money is to be made.
It's the same exact thing with like education, courses, consulting, coaching. It's like you could have picked up, like, I'm reading a book, right? I could have got this free or $5-10, doesn't matter. But the people that the accountability and coaching program behind it, those are the ones that have massive results. That's just how it works, right? Exactly. And there's a really cool saying, like, we all want Arnold Schwarzenegger to slap the Taco Bell out of our mouth. Like, that's ultimately what we want. We want the big guy at the personal training thing to yell at us, get us motivated, pull us out of bed, and like make us lose weight by like hopefully like moving our hands for us. But it doesn't quite work that way. But you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, that's how you get results, is by giving someone like the roadmap and holding them accountable.
Yep.
If it was just about work, look, all these free work. You can get 1 million workouts on YouTube, Beachbody, all these big. You can't play their game.
Yeah.
They have the app and the content and the workouts, but like anything that you can get for free, you're not going to take it serious. That's just the reality.
And you can't afford to pay the people. You can't afford to get the equipment. You can't afford to buy someone else's attention and time. And you can't buy your own attention and time for that person. Like, you're always going to be thinking about other stuff. And so when you look at like Peloton or that Workout Mirror or something like that, like, they've got a model that works. So if I'm understanding correctly, you're saying like, yeah, you can take your gym online, but you need the back end, the accountability, coaching, the program, which has always made the money in the first place, right?
100%.
It's just now a lot more obvious.
It's what it's doing is, as sucky as the situation is, and no one wants to be in this, but the good that's going to come from it, if it is going to force gym owners to realize, well, I can deliver a good product online, and
Yep.
I actually need to be delivering more of a personalized experience and giving more than just workouts, because it's not about just, especially in my niche, like the CrossFit and the boutique gym stuff. Like
Yeah.
people are paying 120 to $200 a month. Like
Equinox levels. Yeah.
they want more than just like what's the workout, right? The community, and then all those other nutrition and accountability stuff. That's what gives people results.
So now that we've got more people on, I don't think a lot of people know you and your story and your background, right? You've been in the IC for a while. You just did an interview with Christine's group. Can you give us like a quick rundown of your Facebook ads journey, agency journey, gym journey, events journey? Because you've taken a rather unique path. You know what I mean?
have.
Yeah.
So back in 2008-ish, I was doing triathlons at the time. Found CrossFit. I was like, whoa, this stuff works. I can work out in a gym for under an hour and still be really good and competitive, relatively speaking.
Oh, when you say you're doing triathlons, you're actually competing in triathlons. You're
Competing in triathlons.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And where I live, like there's one road and they call it Bloody 98. I mean, it's super, super dangerous. So I was like scared I didn't want to get on the bike on the road, literally. Like I was like, no, I will not ride. So then I found CrossFit and I was like, wow, this is really good stimulus. I can get strong, I can get good shape, all that. So I started competing in CrossFit. I was like, I wasn't doing CrossFit like for fun, like a lot of people do. I was trying to win.
Really?
And then I was like, oh yeah.
So does that mean like when you were doing CrossFit at the gym, you were timing your workouts of the day, or are you doing twice as many, or like did you work out just all of it, right?
Doing competitions, competing, CrossFit sanctioned events, everything. And along that journey, I was at a competition and I was like, whoa, I should put on, I live in Pensacola Beach, which, I mean, like we have some of the world's most beautiful beaches. I was like, I could put one of these on myself. So then we just kind of like drove forward, put on a real, first year we had like 700 people and we were like, whoa.
That is massive. Cool. 700 people?
Yeah. Like
holy
this
crap.
was like in 2012, like I don't even know if Facebook had ads. I don't know. They may have had ads. What I did was I created the event page as a person very strategically.
Yeah.
And so I just went out and like friended people. So I had like 5,000 like CrossFit friends. And so everything I published, they would see because they were like, my event was like a friend in their feed. So it was like a really smart way to do it. Anyway, Facebook found out what I was doing years later. But so I started on the event path. And then actually I had the first year, I was using a rinky-dink Microsoft Excel sheet for my results. That broke. So I was like, well, I don't want that to ever happen again because that was stressful trying to figure out all these rankings and formulas.
Oh, the people that were competing, you had it all on like an Excel spreadsheet. Gotcha.
It's not just like a 5K. Like 5K, you have one result. You don't need anything special for that. With CrossFit event, you have most of them, 3 to 5 events. And so like there's all these, like you get the ranking and you sum the points and fewest points wins, whatever.
And then you've got judges for each lift, making sure that you complete. Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like, I didn't want that to ever happen again. So I built the software, a CrossFit event registration and scoring platform for myself, but also other events.
Yeah.
And then shortly after that, we were like, okay, we need a gym to support our events. So then I opened a gym back in 2013. That was the first. We opened Macon CrossFit.
Most people do it the other way. They start working out, and then they open a gym, then they do events.
Yeah. I was like, I came in through like a weird way, but it was cool. Like, I wouldn't trade it for anything. It allowed me to kind of see all different sides. And then, fast forward years later, I've sold both the gyms that I own. And now, so I'm more in the consulting space, helping gym owners become more profitable, right?
Yeah.
And get their time back.
Yeah.
So
very cool. So how many events did you think you put on? Would you say you put on pre-corona and pre-quarantine and stuff like that?
Well, so over the years, I've probably put on 30 to 40 of my own.
Yeah.
I used to run, personally, I used to run 3 events a year. Now we only do 2, but I help people and I've, consulted and gone to travel to South Carolina and other places to put them on. So somewhere in the 30 to 40 range.
And so would you always get 700 people for your events, or did you ever peak at 1,000? Did those numbers ever go up, or what did that look like?
Year 1 started at 700, and that fall event, it is now around 1,400. Right. My spring event, the one that I just had to cancel, it's a little bit different. It's a team only event and we have 500 to 600. It's a different animal. You know, the other one is individuals and teams of 4. Right?
Gotcha.
This is team only. The one in the spring is team only, teams of 3. So we wanted to kind of separate, you know, have them be two totally different animals, so they didn't start blending together. And you know, we didn't want either one to lose its novelty.
Gotcha. So you started doing these events. Your first one was just you publishing your personal page saying, hey, all my friends, let's do an event. Pay me money. We'll figure it out. You have a good time. You're going to get in the paper. It's going to be awesome.
Right.
When did you start applying like a Facebook ads strategy or thought process to your events, or you just didn't get there? You just kept using your personal profile?
Honestly, I've never really advertised for my event because
really
it almost like in the beginning, I was like, well, we had 700, and then next year it was like 900, and I was like, I could go out and spend money, but like we were at the point where we were selling out. So I was like, do I want to go like run ads and pay for advertising if I don't? And then like as the years went on, I was like, screw that. I'm never gonna have any. So that's, you know, I don't mean that arrogantly, but honestly, at this point we don't need to.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? Like maybe events will change, and now that this coronavirus, like it could change things. I don't know. But like, so typically the only advertising I've run has been like in the brick and mortar, like gym setting.
Yep. And
I've done some online stuff too, but mostly 95% has been like for local gyms trying to get more clients.
So I think that's really interesting because most small business owners have that same approach. We've already capped out. I don't need to advertise. And they only advertise when they have an open spot. And I think most agencies don't really understand that. Like when I'm going to a doctor, chiropractor, gym owner, or car wash or bike shop or whatever, that business owner is thinking in terms of capacity. How many client spots do I have? And then the agency will fill those client spots, and the agency owner is going, God, why don't they want to renew, blah, blah, blah. But the vast majority of agency owners take that approach as like, I either sold out or only got 50 spots or 100 spots extra. So I really don't like, it's not a new sentence for me to hear that, but I'm just reiterating for everybody on the line. Like the vast majority of business owners will say like, all right, I need to like max out. And then I build out new capacity, and then I've got to advertise again. And then they always think, what can I do to do it myself? And then if that fails, then they approach advertising, right? But you approached your advertising saying, I don't need to do it at events, but did you start advertising for your gyms and things like that? You did. So what did that look like for you?
So for my own, we started, this is probably when I first started running Facebook ads, it's probably 2014, 15 maybe. And it was for challenges, 30-day, 28-day challenges, 6-week challenges.
Yeah.
And over the years, those have become like super, super popular, right? But the premise, like sometimes the offer changes a little bit, but the premise is still the same. You get someone to opt in, and then you get them to book a face-to-face or a phone consultation. Like that's it, you know? And most of the time for a local gym, you're setting that, you know, it's going out to the 5 to 10 mile radius, somewhere in there, depending on how densely populated the area is, the gym is.
Yeah.
It's really not rocket science. I mean, especially now, like you can literally see the ads that people are running, but like the magic is in like the follow up and the systems, you know, I mean, all the stuff going on behind the scenes, like that's where the magic is. Anybody can set up most people can set up a Facebook ad.
So that's the coolest thing that's happened in the past 2 or 3 or 4 years with all this. Like the money used to be in setting up the Facebook ad and the fulfillment and just getting the ad up and running. And now magically it's changed to more like learning how to prospect and have systems. Like that's where the value is, right? So
especially now, this day and age, like people, they're getting bombarded, right? And they're becoming more distracted. So it's harder to get that person. Even if the person opts in, and then on the second page, they book their appointment. Like they've taken all these steps, but it's getting harder and harder to get that person like to answer the phone or to show up for the thing that they clicked on and then spent, you know, a minute or two filling out the form and then the appointment. Like it's crazy. But you know, I mean, things have changed. Like as our attention span goes down, we're bouncing more. We're not finishing the apps or we're not booking. And then if we do book, we're just distracted now more than ever. And we're getting texted from, you know, I mean, you know, like I got like 5 texts last week. I was like, I don't even know who this is from. How'd you get my, like, I couldn't even make sense of the text.
Yep.
But I mean, so as that stuff keeps happening more and more, it's harder for like legit, you and I, legit businesses to connect with our customers.
Yep.
Get them to do what we want them to do.
As such, the offer treadmill continues. Like we used to do leads and the customer opportunities, now booked appointments, pretty should be like guaranteed show ups, stuff like that. As such is life. But so if I understand correctly, and we're going to move into the bullet points soon. You've been doing CrossFit for most of your adult life. You've run massive events, 700,000 people, and you've run 2 gyms, and you've done advertising for those gyms, specifically in terms of getting like people to come in, and you understand like whether it's a phone call or a FaceTime, like whatever, like your onboarding or qualification strategy session version of that is, get them to come in, have a sales conversation, get them to sign up. Like you understand all of that, right?
Absolutely.
That worked until spring break of this year when it all went to hell, right? And they shut down everything. And that's why we're on the call right now, because almost every single small business owner makes money face-to-face like a normal human being. Like they aren't running around town trying to figure out VSLs and webinars and book offers. They're not trying to close 5 to 10K over the phone. Come into my office. We'll get you set up and taken care of. There's employees. There's a waiting room, normal stuff. And that model has taken a big backseat or a massive hit, especially with gyms, right?
Absolutely.
And they've had to change. And I think we go into the first bullet point right now, which is the number one thing you need to be focusing on to save yourself 25 times the cost. Can you help us understand that? Is that for gyms? Is that for agencies?
For gyms, and really for any business, but really, and yeah, that was a little catchy headline or whatever, but the reality is like right now, gym owners are more panicked than ever, right? And it's not just gym owners. I mean, you could make the case for restaurant, anywhere, but they're panicked, right? So it's like, okay, sometimes you have to step back and say, okay, what do I need to focus on first?
Yeah.
And the answer almost always is like retain who you have. Like you have a ton of sweat equity, you have advertising dollars, you have service dollars. Like these people have cost you a lot of money. They're already there. Like that's the lowest hanging fruit. It's like stop the bleeding, keep these people like as long as you can. Right now, that being said, like it's inevitable. You're going to lose people. People are losing their jobs. They're freaking out. They're trying to pinch their pennies. But like being constantly in front of them, communicating with them daily, sending them workouts, texting them, emailing them, being active in your private Facebook group. Like these are all things like it's really easy right now to go and hide and be like, I hope no one cancels. But the reality is like, you need to be more out in front of your people. So, and the reason why I have 25 times is because, depending on where you read, the cost of acquiring a new customer as opposed to keeping one is like 10 to 25 times more. Right? I mean, there's no secret. Advertising dollars, times, service, onboarding, it's tough. So it makes sense to focus on your attention first and focus on the people you have. In addition to like communicating more than ever, staying in front of them, like right now is not the time to like nickel and dime. Like you have to go above and beyond and over deliver.
Yeah.
If, over deliver way more than you ever thought you should. Meaning, like we talked about earlier, when we first got on the call or the live, it's like, yeah, the workouts are good, but people really need more than that. So any kind of challenge or system or gamification the gym can come up with, or if you're a consultant and you're listening to this, that you can help your gym owner come up with, whether it's a 2-week, 30-day, 6-week challenge, like that's the kind of stuff that you need to be engaging your members with, giving them more than just workouts.
Yeah.
Will get them to stick, whether it's literally daily calls, text, nutrition tips, accountability, like all that stuff. Like it's go above and beyond time right now.
So if I understand correctly, what you're trying to communicate is, let's just say the average person pays $100 a month for the gym. I'm sure it's higher or lower, but that's an easy number, right? And that person was getting in return gym time and then a group session and personal trainer, right? And now the gym owner is going, oh my God, now I can't deliver gym time, right? It ain't gonna happen. They're going to hide. They're going to say, I hope nobody cancels and everybody ignores the recurring charge. And maybe I'll lose like 70%, but maybe there'll be 30% that just kind of love me and like, let me keep billing them. Right. And that's not a good line of thinking. You have to take that $100 of value and apply it to other things. For example, doing like your 3-day Corona challenge, your 30-day Corona challenge. Hey guys, we're all going on Zoom and we're keeping ourselves accountable. And I will yell at you. I will call you out during the call.
Yeah.
If you A, don't show up, B, if you don't do your workout, and C, I swear to God, if you're not squatting deep, I'm throwing my camera directly at your face. Like that type of approach is now the reallocation of the $100 of value that will keep your clients and stop the bleeding. Is that correct?
Bingo. Yeah, absolutely correct. And it's like, okay, so Jeff, I know you're used to just coming in daily and doing daily workouts, but here's the deal, man. I know things are crazy right now. Maybe you feel a little bit squeezed. Your home life's crazy. Maybe you have a couple kids and you're schooling them. Like now it's crazier than it's ever been. But like now is when you have to double down on yourself. Like you have to take care of yourself so you can have the energy to freaking produce at your job, to give your kids what they need, yada, 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 right? So what we're going to do right now is we set this little challenge of accountability, whatever it is. And I'm going to give you a food list. I want you to stick to the list. I want you to weigh yourself twice a week. I want you to send me pictures. I want you to, send me post-workout selfies, blah, blah, blah. Like that's whatever your system is. Like you have the bullet points. I want you to do this, 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 and then hold them to it, right? There's not like there's one best way, but it's like going above and beyond to help them through this time, right? Yeah. When it's not something you would normally do, because normally they're just going to come get their workout in for the most part, get their workout in and go on about their day. Like now, like you really have to justify the premium that you're charging.
Gotcha.
Right.
And that applies whether you're charging $50 or $100, $200 a month for your gym, right? Like you just have to justify what you're paying in a way that's now being received by the person who's paying you money. And it's not going to happen by coming to the gym. You probably are not going to land the personal training sessions, but you sure as snot can go ahead and say like, hey, we're doing the Corona diet. We're going to make sure you're not getting any weight while you can't leave your home. Exactly. And we're going to incorporate a 3 times a week workout. So not only can you save your sanity and get your kids tired so that they're not ignoring you anymore, but more importantly, blah, 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 click here, join up, things like that, right?
Absolutely.
Very again, cool.
Number one, focus on your retention. Keep your people. Yes, you're going to lose people, but like bust your balls or have your gym owner bust their balls to try to like stop the bleeding. Over deliver. And this is also a really good time. A lot of coaches or a lot of owners are stressed. They're like, how am I going to pay my coaches? Blah, blah, blah. Give them like, if you have 200 members, hey, Johnny, you have these 50 people. Susie, you have these, get them involved.
Yeah.
And should not be trying to manage all these relationships themselves and stress out how am I going to pay my bills. It's like, no, if you're going to continue paying these people, they need to be like your little worker bees.
Yeah.
Right. So they need to be tied to revenue somehow. So if my employees or my coaches can help me keep this revenue, then they're worth something, right? So, I mean, they're always worth something, but like in terms of like actual dollars and cents.
So I know that, is it Bar or something like that? What's the one where like you go and you do Soul Cycle, right? They pay their coaches depending upon who shows up, right? If like 20 people show up, they get X dollars per head. The owner of Soul Cycle isn't saying, oh my God, I've got 1 million members to look after. But the average gym owner is saying, oh my God, I've got 100 members to look after.
Right.
What I'm understanding from you is your best bet is to take your 4 or 5 coaches and segment and divide and view it like little tiny armies where like you've got 50 people, you've got 50 people, get them on the Zoom calls, have the conversations. This you're getting paid for. And as a side note, if you get X result, I'm going to give you a bonus. And they'll probably incentivize your coaches in a way to be more aggressive. And your end clients will appreciate the interactiveness and the approach and saying, well, at least he's calling me and telling me I'm not supposed to eat these Oreos, even though I'm eating them, right? Is that about right, what you're saying right here?
Yeah. I mean, one person trying to, if you have a gym with 30, 40 clients, that's different. But if you have 100, 150, 200, 300, which some gyms have, like one person cannot manage that. And if you're trying to, you're not going to give the people the time and attention they deserve. So especially in this scenario that we're talking about, if you have staff, let them delegate and let them do their thing.
I've always been curious as to why gyms haven't moved to the like 90-day lose weight program type thing with like weekly coaching calls where you get to ask questions about nutrition, and then another weekly coaching calls where you get to ask a personal trainer about X and then a physical trainer about Y. Because you and I are used to a world where like you join up a program for like 30, 60, 90 days and you have 3 week time Zoom calls and get to ask a specific coach a certain thing. Are you like suggesting that it's totally possible that gyms will be moving into that kind of delivery model?
yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes, and the reality is the smart gyms and the efficient gyms and the gyms that have like that marketing knack, they are already doing this. So they're kind of the smooth transition to them. It's not easy, but it's a lot smoother. Whereas a lot of the other gym owners kind of got caught with their pants down and they're scrambling like crap. How can we come up with a system where we can do a remote, and then very small percentage are like, yeah, we're already doing this. Like,
yeah.
And here's the reality, Jeff. It's like 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, whenever it is, when things are back to normal, like this is always a viable revenue. It's not like gyms should be like, okay, we're going to shut this off and go back to brick and mortar. It's like, no, like the online or that virtual is an incredibly like profitable and like efficient way to do it, right? Because they have to like be in the spot and they're not taking up the space and they're using the equipment. Now, if they want to do that, that's fine. But not everyone wants to come to a gym. Some people have a home gym, or some people are just like, I just want to do some body weight, some endurance workouts. Just help me, keep on track and get results. They don't have to go to the facility for that.
And if anybody here has a gym client, you can go to your gym clients like, hey, we're going to repackage what you're doing and how you're doing it to match the environment. More importantly, match what the market's trying to buy. From what I'm seeing and hearing right now, the chances of a gym selling a gym membership are very, very low. But you could sell a 90-day or 60-day or 30-day at-home workout program with a health coach every Wednesday at 2 p.m. You get to ask the health coach whatever you want. Every Monday at 2 p.m. we've got a stretching series. And every Friday we've got a at-home gym workout taught by XYZ person. Now what you're doing as a agency is not only helping your client make more money, but you're delivering a way to where your client doesn't take on more work, which means they can keep paying you more money. Now you've got that infinitely scalable model that Alex Shilinsky talks about. And you've got coaches that are incentivized to get people to show up, because the more times they show up, the longer that they'll stay in the program and probably renew. Is that the right way of thinking about all this, Ty?
Yeah, 100%.
Perfect.
100%.
Perfect. The second bullet point that we're talking about is a 3-step prospecting framework that must be used for all your messaging, especially during crises like this. Now, I've never actually proactively gotten a gym. I've never had a gym on my agency roster. There's one down the street that I used to go to, but then there's a gym in my building. So that was the end of my journey, right? But what would somebody who's an agency owner have to tell their gym client so that gym can start prospecting? Or is that for an agency trying to prospect for gyms?
Well, let me step back real quick. So before I would go out and set up ads for a gym, or if I'm talking to, if you're a consultant, before you should set up ads for your gym, I would like the lowest hanging fruit next from the retention people you already have is like re-engaging former members and the existing leads list. Like, right, every gym, unless they're brand new, is going to have a database.
Yep.
So hitting them up, sending out a text blast. Hey, first name, we're running this awesome new little, 21-day, 30-day, 6-week at-home thing. You got a couple of spots left. Do you want one?
Yep.
That's it. Literally, you can send out one text and start tens and hundreds of conversations that way. So before I would ever explore Facebook ads, I would do that first.
Yep.
Right? Because you already own that data.
That's collectively called the database reactivation. That's just the generic term, right? Gotcha.
Yeah. And it's like, whatever you want to call it, it's like, hey, we are doing this offer. Do you want a spot?
Yeah.
Or are you in? And you're just asking them a question and they answer back yes, or you give them a keyword to, if you're using a CRM like High Level or whatever it is, like you're just starting the conversation. So you can literally just send out one text, or you can have a bunch of other stuff built on the back end of that based off what they say and moving them from this campaign. And if they book, so it doesn't really matter, but like that is the next lowest hanging fruit that a lot of people like kind of skip over, but it's a gold mine. So always if you are a consultant leading your gym owners, like it's like, hey, look, go spend like an hour or two, gather up all your former members, and I want all your leads. Like, get them in a spreadsheet for me, and we're gonna re-engage those people. Boom, that can be done like today and now.
Just a mass text software, get to it, send it out. Yeah,
I'm not a blast, man. And like they've already opted in, or they were already members at some point. Like they're kind of hot/warm, depending on who they are. Like that's super low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Then I would go into like prospecting mode, like Facebook ad, Google ad, whatever it is. Okay. And again, it's the same thing. And the bullet point I made is that like the 3-step is like, so right now, a lot of gyms are just, they're trying to pump out stuff and they're trying to, some of them just put out goodwill and they're, hey, we got these free workouts. But like it still needs to, no matter how rough times are right now, you still have to follow like the framework. And so the 3 steps I was talking about is like hook, story, offer, hook, value, offer, whatever you want to say. And that's like, if you've read Expert Secrets, followed any of Brunson's stuff, I mean, he's not the only one, but other like the framework, whether you're sending an email, whether you're setting up a Facebook ad, whether you're sending a text, it's like, I mean, Jeff, like the headlines are everything. So if you don't have a powerful headline, you could send out, you could give as much value if you want in your emails. You could set up Facebook ads till you're blue in the face. But if you don't have like that headline of like, hey, what the heck is it? Or why do I need to do this thing? Then people are just going to keep going. Right. Same thing. Like you could make a Facebook ad with a ton of value or a ton of tips. You may got this email. You're like, man, that was the best email ever. No one responded. No one even read. It's like, yeah, well, what was your subject line? What was the headline? Right. And then at the bottom of the ad, of the email, of the text, it's like, what? And this is where especially a lot of gym owners forget. It's like, okay, what do I need to do now? And that's like a powerful call to action. Click to save your spot. Click to book an appointment, or if it's an email, or if it's text, reply back and let me know if you know what I mean. That's the call to action is what a lot of people just skip over. And it's like they think they're putting out all this content, which is good, and this goodwill, which is good. But like you still need to tell people, like you still need to walk them through that path. So it's like powerful headline, some key bullets of what the hell it is, and then the CTA, like what do they need to do? The funny thing is I got targeted the other day for an ad, and I was like, man, it was this long, it was a big paragraph. It had no like just big paragraph blended together. On the actual below the image, there was nothing there. And then off to the right, I'm a marketer, I could see it was like it was a messenger ad. But like they didn't tell me what to do. Like I knew if I clicked on that, I was going to go to Messenger. But like most people, they'd be like, wait, what the heck did I do? Like, why am I in Messenger? You know what I mean? So it's like step back and like make this very, very clear for your clients. Or if you're a consultant to gym owners, like if you're setting this up, like remind them why this stuff is so important. Right? Like there's a framework and there's a methodology. And so go ahead.
So step number 1 is do that database reactivation, start more conversations. Like whether it's like sometimes like I call it the prospecting engine. Like you can have external prospecting and then internal prospecting, generate more conversations, more yeses, more let's talk, right? That's the first thing to do, like a database reactivation. Tell your client like, hey, you've got a bunch of people that are paying you money that could be moved to a new program, or a bunch of people have not paid you money that should be having a conversation about paying you money. First thing to do, mass text, right? And I don't care if like you're using a specific software or a do-it-all software, or if you have to yell at your client to have them text your clients or their clients, like it's fine. Just start sending out some text messages. The second thing is before you start doing ads, make sure you follow what works, which is hook, story, offer. And more importantly, tell the dang person what to do. Like at the end of every car dealer commercial is like, and come on in today, call us now, blah, blah, blah.
What do I do now? That's the question that everyone's going to have when they read your email, they read your text, they see your Facebook ads. Like, tell me exactly what the next step is, right?
Gotcha.
And kind of a side note to all this, like going back to like starting conversations, Jeff, like that's the whole irony now is that a bunch of like, especially as marketers, we can make this thing like as complex and sophisticated as we want. Like, oh, I got this automation in this system. But like the reality is like someone needs to like to see the ad, to click on it. Like this day and age, like opt in, call. Opt in, call. Like it's almost like taking back to like the early stages of marketing, but like we can get like as complex as we want, but in the end, ultimately, like we need to catch someone's attention. We need to get their information, and especially now we can't do face to face. Get them on the phone.
Yep.
Sell them your thing.
I remember someone saying the only type of person that pays another person money is a real life human being. Like, you don't get paid by machines, you don't get paid by tech stacks, you don't get paid by staring at an ads manager. Your goal is to start more real life human conversations, because only people pay people money. Now, technically that's not true, but 90% of the money you're probably going to make for your client is one person paying another person. And that's where the hook story offer works a lot. I see a lot of people getting distracted about, but should I use a phone call funnel or should I use messenger bots? And I'm like, man, honestly, like, you just pick one and whatever works best. Like the problem is that people get stuck and they don't like do the doing part. And it's kind of like, if I want to lose 30 pounds and I've spent 6 weeks figuring out whether I should go running or go to the gym, just pick one. You're going to lose 30 pounds if you just run enough. Right.
It's like, I actually, I had a mentor like years ago, and I kept on asking him these stupid questions. He's like, dude, you're basically, he goes, what would you as a fitness expert, what would you do if one of your clients said, hey, what color shorts should I wear? You'd be like,
what the fuck does it matter?
It doesn't matter. Just come in, you know what I mean? And so like, we can like overthink things sometimes. Like, it doesn't matter what color shorts you wear, just put them on and go work out. No, but I one of the questions people may have, like, and while we're talking about like prospecting even harder, like right now, the hook story offer that feeds right in with like prospecting is like, now more than ever, gym owners are scared and hesitant, like other business owners. But like, this is when you need to double down, because most everyone has pulled their ads. So ad costs have dropped. The marketplace is not as flooded right now. And so as hard as it is, because everyone's trying to squeeze their penny, hold their dollars, like, this is when you need to double down, right? And the play is still the same. Like, you make a sexy offer, whether you're going to give them free 14-day, free 21-day, free 30-day, free 60, it doesn't matter. You're going to give them this thing. They're going to opt in. You're going to get their email address, their phone. You're going to try to get them to book, and you're going to get on a call with them, explain to them about the program, the freebie you have. And then at the end of the conversation, more than likely, they're going to, if you pitch it correctly, you're like, oh, actually, I want to do I actually need the accountability and nutrition. And so that's going to cost me X amount. Yeah, I want to do that. Especially if you're promising me or you're guaranteeing me some results. The play is not difficult. It doesn't matter. Like, people who are watching would offer like free week, free 2 weeks, free month, whatever. Like, people can get free workouts anywhere. So don't, like, you can give them that, but you get them on the phone, you discover like what their big problem is or what they're really after. And that all starts with a conversation, what we were just talking about. Right. So it's not a hard play. You're just walking people through it. At the end of it, they're like, oh yeah, I do want that. I do want to pay for it. I need someone to give me the blueprint on what to eat and hold me through these work. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not difficult.
What I really like is applying that to the idea of having the coaches that are doing like a Monday at 2 p.m., a Wednesday at 2 p.m., a Friday at 2 p.m., stretching, nutrition, weightlifting, whatever it is, right? Adding another person to that Zoom call does not take any extra time. You're paying the coach a flat rate plus whatever. You're paying another coach a flat rate, another coach a flat rate. You can effectively have like 20 or 30 paying members, and then just keep adding 3 or 4 or 5 free 7-day trials or 14-day trials. Like, hey, you're going to come in, you're going to do the workouts, you're going to absolutely love it. And at the end of it, we can talk about you joining up for X number of dollars per month. And it takes no extra time and it takes no extra space to take on that extra trial client or extra trial customer. Compare that to going to the gym and having like 30 people show up for free. They've squeezed out everybody. You're at capacity. The client hates you. If you set up an offer correctly, you can do free whatevers without actually taking the hit of it being free. Is that correct?
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And so in this, with the scenario I was saying, yeah, you could give them, a PDF of X amount of days worth of workouts. You could give them access for like to Zoom workouts or a Facebook group, something like that. But after that, you could give, like, I would give them stuff that doesn't require like the one-on-one, like anything where it's going to require like a coach to get on a call or text and check up. That's when like you're moving to the paid realm. And honestly, like that's how you're going to get the results, right? We're having that expert, that coach or whatever, like checking up with you.
Very cool.
Giving you tips, right? It's not it's not rocket science.
So we have on the third bullet point, how to rework your SOPs and keep your team engaged during the coronavirus. For everybody that's watching, the term SOPs is just what you're doing, how you're doing it. Like it's the IKEA level instructions for like your thing. Not as hard as you think. My SOPs are just gross and dirty 7-minute Loom videos, right? But when I bring on new business, that means I don't have to do the work. I can have someone else do it. They just follow the instructions. So when I get $1,000 sale, I can fulfill it with like 6 hours of my VA's time that cost me $22, right? So I'm jumping up and down. But you've got something specific, correct?
Well, yeah, kind of. I mean, I have some examples. So like right now is a perfect time because theoretically, gym owners are not going to be in their facility all day like they were. They're not going to be spending time cleaning and doing all that. The same thing with their coaches or their employees. So this is a really good time to like, okay, let's go over here and like let's refocus and like reevaluate our processes. For instance, like, so what are our client acquisition systems look like? When people are opting in, like our lead form, are they efficient? Is our website efficient? Is our form? What happens when they opt in? Are they getting in the right campaigns? Is everyone and everything, all the notifications going out to the one person or the two people, right? So you're just kind of evaluating like, hey, let's kind of go through this thing from prospect to nerd to sale to onboard, like you're kind of digging in and making sure like that it's running as efficient. I mean, it's a good, I guess, Jeff, what I'm trying to say is it's a great time with this extra downtime to kind of, this is one of those things like, I'll get to it later, but like now is a really good time to do that. Right now is a really good time to make sure your staff is trained on like sales objections and whatnot. Now is a really good time to make sure everything is documented. Like you just said, it's a Loom. Like you get frustrated with your coaches who don't know how to onboard someone or do the membership. Like, have you given them have you literally filmed the screen of you taking the person's information and credit card and setting them up? Probably not. Or it was probably, if your coaches or employees have a question, or if you're a consultant and your gym owners, coaches or employees have questions, they're probably legit. Like they haven't been shown how, or there is no like handbook or thing, right? So it's just taking the time to like just kind of explore. Hey, what are our lead? What are our sales? And what are our retention? Like what are the systems and how can we improve those?
What I've discovered
right now.
What I've discovered is that this is the easiest time for us to call ourselves out on our own bullshit. Like, hey, I've always wanted to lose weight, but I don't have the time. You've got time now. I've always wanted to quit my job, but I can't because my mortgage. You don't have to pay your mortgage, and you probably don't have a job, and you've got free money. And I've always wanted to stay at home and watch Netflix. Great, you're going to do that. I've always wanted to read more books, but I can't because of now you're going to read more books. And the SOPing process is easier than you think because it's the biggest transformation that'll happen when you SOP is you're going to call your brain out on your old bullshit. Like, of course I know how to do it. I just don't want to. Okay, prove it to myself. Record your screen, do the Loom video, and write out the objection handling script your front desk is supposed to know. And magically, you'll realize, oh, yeah, I don't actually know it. You'll write it out, and then they'll become standard. And then you're going to end up with a big Google Drive of like step number 1, when a lead comes in, call them back 3 times. Step number 2, get them on the phone, have the conversation. Step number 3, blah, blah, blah. And now you've got what's called a flow, like a series of steps that make sense. Up until then, probably in your client's journey, they've had a challenge, right, with like making SOPs in a way that makes sense. And I want to challenge everybody on here and say you can make your SOPs with your client. Most clients have trouble communicating to a screen alone. It's the back and forth. Then just get on a Zoom call and say, like, great, step number 1, what are we supposed to do? That can be your new offer for your client. Hey, Mr. Johnson, we've been doing lead gen for you for a long time. I get it. There's no way to do it. By the way, would you like us to set up a 90-day workout from home program? We're going to create SOPs, hook you up with coaches, blah, blah, blah. That's a new offer that you can approach gyms with, and all of a sudden stuff is going to work. So I guess, Ty, what you're trying to say is like the standard operating procedures. There's always an excuse for later. Now is later. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. And again, like we mentioned, everything from lead to sales to retention and everything in between. Like just evaluate, what are you doing? As well, this would be a really good time to, if you being watching this, if you're a consultant and it would be a really good time to train not only the gym owner, but like the gym owner's staff on like the CRM. Like how do how to use High Level, or if you're using ClickFunnels Active Campaign, like kind of getting them more involved so they kind of understand it, because that's one of the like, you take a look at High Level, like it's so powerful and it's so like streamlined and systemized, but it's also super overwhelming because it does so much. So this is a really good time to like make sure like everyone understands like how to use this thing, how to get the most of it. You're paying for it, you're paying for the service. Let's, yeah, and maybe even create some training videos on that.
Yep.
So it's just that kind of, any kind of systemization or SOP type stuff. I just think right now is a really good time to kind of reevaluate and dig deeper into that.
So what I've been doing, and you're part of my inner circle, you've seen the evolution of my course. My course turned into, oh, really? And then I just throw you like a gauntlet, a forklift worth of books. Like that's not kosher anymore, right? And I've always had the excuse of I will figure it out later. And so for the first 2 hours today, I've been recording my SOPs for High Level, sneaky surveys, welcome text, phone call recordings, VA callbacks, how to create the ad, how to hook it up. It's all there, right? I just finished doing like a 2-hour thing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop it up using ScreenFlow. And now I've got an intro and an outro. And now I can properly checklist everybody that goes through my steps, whether it's a done for you client where I literally be doing this, somebody who just buys my SOPs, which I sell all the time, or somebody decides to get my coaching program, which you're part of, like they can just click in and be like, this is how to set up welcome text, check the box, we're good. This is how to set up sneaky service, check the box, we're good. Blah, 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 all the way down. Without this social shutdown, I would have been lying to myself the whole time. We'll do it later. And I think your clients are saying the same thing. Agency owners are saying the same thing. So now's the time to provide that service for your client. We've got one last fire emoji. We're going to do Q&A. And then I think you're open for the idea of strategy sessions, right, Ty?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Very, very cool. All right. So the last question is the 5 stupid, simple step guide to produce 6 months of content in 1 weekend. What does that mean?
So again, the three I just kind of want to step back. The 3 priority things, first 3 things we talked about: retention, engaging your base, re-engaging your former members and leads, and then prospecting, right? The whole lead category. Like that's my 3 priority. And then these extra 2 would be like my secondary, but super important. The one we just talked about was just SOPs.
Yep.
And then this other one that I'm going to talk about right now is like the content and the website and the branding. Like this is a really good time to, like, you're at home.
Yep.
You're like, what can we do? It's like, okay, maybe now is a good time to like polish up my website. Maybe now is a good time to create some content because I have like a whole lot of time, or my gym's empty. I can go in my gym real quick and get my freaking, not create the wheel, just get my iPhone and like get in front of my whiteboard and talk about a bunch of stuff. So now I have like 1, 2, 4, 6 months of content.
Yep.
Then now I can just spread out everywhere. In the gym setting, it's mostly Instagram, Facebook, maybe YouTube. But it's like, what a great time to do that. I know when I used to own gyms, it was always hard because you wanted to like be in that gym setting, right? In the gym, you're in front of the pull-up rig, or you're in front of the whiteboard, you're in front of the squat rack, whatever it is. But like people are coming out, making noise, dropping stuff all day. So it's hard. Like right now, it's a ghost town. It's crickets.
Yeah.
So it's a really good time to freaking, shoot some content. And again, I wouldn't recommend you go buy a $5,000 camera and waste a bunch of time figuring out how to use it. Like you can, like this iPhone freaking 11, the camera on it's ridiculous.
Yep.
I swear it's like, we don't even need to hire professional photographers anymore.
Nope. Turn on your camera, get a wireless mic, or yell at your screen from far away and do all the Instagram content you've ever wanted, all the YouTube content you've ever wanted to do. And everybody that you admire as far as like a coach, consultant, or influencer in the fitness space that you're following, I don't care. It's Dr. Greenberg is one of them, something like that. There's Athlean X, something like that. Athlean X. Yeah. Like those are the guys that are having a business that will run without regard to whether there's a recession or great economic ups and downs, because they've got a prospecting engine, their videos, that just runs. And now they are in front of their future clients and customers. They can sell them stuff at any time, anywhere. And what's cool, and this is something I'm exploring with my current chiropractor. Hey, Mr. Johnson, I know you're kind of like shut off right now. Nobody wants to come in. what if we took the next 3 days and shot a 21-step stretching guide and routine that you can do later on to either get more clients or just bonus people when they buy your 5K program, or sell it independently for $97, and now you just got cash coming in every time you send out an email? Is that something you're interested in? So you can challenge your clients to do this, charge for it, or if you are a client of yourself, if you're like an end user, there's no reason why you can't be shooting your own videos. I shot like 18 like ads earlier today with just my iPhone, like this, right? There's no reason not to. And you can do educational content, promotional content. You can do something called like pre-conquering scripts, where it's like, I've got people that want to buy from you, but they always give me this objection that I can't handle. Do some research and then make a video of you handling that objection. Hey, everybody, I know you've always wanted to come to the gym, but you always think gyms are only for people that are super ripped. Let me tell you why that's not the case. That becomes an ad that pre-conquers an objection.
Right.
So that's exactly what we're trying to communicate, right?
Right. And to kind of go take a step back and like, so the bullet was like the 5-step guide. So this, if it were me, if I was a gym owner, if it was you instructing your gym owner, there's five steps which I would do. You could literally create months of content that you could shoot literally over a day or two.
Yep.
Using an iPhone, right? So number one, identify the video topics. What am I going to talk about? Well, how to lose fat. I have a whole list written down. I'm going to give you guys as a little cheat sheet. How to lose fat. But what's the best diet to follow? 3 meal prep hacks. What, top obstacles and challenges your members have overcome. Should you fast? Why you open your gym? 3 ways to increase your energy. How to survive 8 hours at a debt. Like the list, it goes on forever. My 3 favorite travel workouts. How to squat. Like literally just go on a fitness forum and look what people are asking about, and then you talk. Like, it's not rocket science. Okay. So number one, you got to identify what are you going to talk about. Number 2, you got to film the dang videos, right? So using your iPhone, having good lighting, having lots of energy, bringing in a couple outfits. You don't want to. I'm not going to go in front of the whiteboard and film all 30 videos wearing this shirt.
Right. I've done that before.
Because then people know, hey, he just shot all of these videos. So bring a couple change the scenery a little bit. You can still be in your gym. Just you're in front of the whiteboard. You're in front of here. You're in front of there. It doesn't matter. Okay. So step 1, identify your topics. Step 2, film the videos. Step 3, as soon as you download these videos and or as soon as you shoot the videos and you send them to a Google Drive or a Dropbox or whatever, just label them.
Yeah.
With whatever it is. So like you basically put a headline on them so you know exactly what it is about. Step 4, edit the videos as needed. Hopefully, I would not suggest making super long videos because most of the time people aren't going to watch them anyway. So a couple-minute video, give people some nuggets, you're out.
Yeah.
Nothing fancy, not all of this, got to send in production, film yourself talking, again, hook, story, offer. Powerful headlines, start the video so people actually watch it. Then give them a couple nuggets and then the call to action.
Yep.
Fill out the form, click on the link, subscribe, whatever it is, okay? And then step 5, you're going to post those videos, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, like
beautiful.
You're just spreading them out. It's not that, it's really just doing it, okay? And that being said, not everyone's super comfortable in front of the camera.
Sometimes they have a face for radio.
Yeah, so if you have someone at your gym, so if maybe the gym owner is a geeky, techie guy, maybe you don't want to have him. Maybe you have the 24-year-old chick who is really outgoing and she loves so I understand that, but it's not ultimately just speak to people's problems. Earlier you mentioned the sneaky survey, doing the customer research is a great way to get topics. When I owned a gym, we used to send out surveys all the time. Hey, what's your number 1 struggle? What are you struggling with? And then literally they'll give you the topics. I was amazed, all these dudes were struggling with their sweet tooth. So guess what? We started using that in our marketing. Yeah. How to overcome your sweet, how to lose 20 pounds even if you have a sweet tooth. They're giving you stuff to talk about. It's not that hard. If you can't figure out how to get on the internet and figure out people's problems for whatever reason, if you're that brain dead, then you could just send out a survey. Send out a survey to your members. What are you struggling with? And they will really give you the topics to talk about. It's not that hard.
And now all you have to do is shoot a acceptable but gross, aka authentic video of you answering those questions, 90 seconds long, hook, story, offer, 3 things, see you later, bye, that's it. I've got a green screen. You don't need one. You can use a butt in your background if you'd like. the end result is that you're just getting it up and running in a way that makes a lot of sense, right?
You're getting in front of people. You're getting in front of people, and you're putting out like actually good stuff. Like your topics are like stuff that they're actually struggling with, so you're helping them, and then they're gonna see that, and then you're gonna be you become like the subject matter expert.
Yeah,
but that's the thing. Like if you're putting out content, people are just gonna kind of automatically assume that you have your crowd together and you're an expert. Well, he must know his stuff. He must have all the certifications if he's putting it out. Like, you know, like you don't even have to be that good. Like,
I remember when I was like starting out, I would do these 90-second marketing videos. Here's 90 seconds about email. And it's like, I had a cursory knowledge about this. I was getting like fielded these like massively like PhD level questions, not from just people on the internet, but from my clients and my future clients. They were like, hey, so, you know, we're about to integrate like 500,000 campaigns, or we're not sure about the A/B test that we should be doing. Depending upon if we send it on a Wednesday or Thursday at like 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. What do you think about this multivariate? I'm like, oh my God, what did you just say to me? Like, what do you think? I'm an expert? And they're like, yeah, we saw your video. I'm like, I just thought about it for like 30 minutes. And then what do you mean? Like, but it's amazing, like how the power dynamic and shifts change.
Dude, it's just like you write a book.
The doing part.
If you write a book, people just assume, oh man, this dude wrote a book. Like he's the expert. It's like, well, I mean, because that's the way. Yeah, I mean, that's the way we used to like it when I was growing up in the 90s, and you know, like it was like, oh, they have to be like distinguished and have all the, you know, like a scholar if they wrote the book.
Yeah.
But like the reality is now it's like anyone can write a book, but you still, I'm not downplaying it, but like with that book comes like that certain, like, it's almost like give you a credential, like you're the expert now because you wrote a book. You know what I mean? It's the same kind of thinking.
Yep. It's so effing cool. And the biggest lesson that I've taken from this conversation, Ty, is like winners do the doing part. Like they just do the doing part. They don't spend a lot of time trying to figure out if it's the right path, if it's the best path, if it's the perfect path. They're going to do the doing part and then putting themselves in a winning position. Whether it's like filming your content, whether it's doing a database reactivation, whether it's making an offer or restructuring their program, winners are the ones that are consistently moving the right direction. And once you start doing that, like you have this like huge momentum thing. You end up with like 90 videos on YouTube that you're doing like 10, 15,000 views every single day automatically and getting 5 to 6 yeses every single day automatically. People want to pay you enough ton of money. And I think that's really massively powerful, really massively important. You're open to 3 15-minute strategy sessions, right?
Yeah.
Fantastic. So if you want to talk with Ty more about like writing SOPs that make sense for your clients and customers, the 3-step prospecting framework, database activations, the stupid simple guide on making 6 months worth of content one weekend, or even just having a one-on-one conversation with him or in a group of like, how the hell do I stop the bleeding for myself or the clients? I just want you to type Ty My Face. That's TY My Face. It was gonna be Tie My Butt. But Ty My Face just seems better. TY My Face. Put that in the chat. I'm going to pick the first 3 people, and then we'll make sure to connect you and Ty in a group chat. And then you can either have a group session, 15-minute one-on-one, or he'll get in touch with you at independent time. You guys will figure it out. But just type TY My Face, and then I'll group chat interview. Ty, it's been an absolute pleasure. I really look up to you and your journey. I think you have the grit and the enthusiasm, the entrepreneur realism expectations, right? Yeah. Like nobody's going to be a millionaire overnight. It's the consistent movement in the right direction, the consistent climbing of the stairs that I genuinely think keeps you like realistic, pragmatic, and moving in the right direction. I think it's absolutely fantastic. Was there anything else you wanted to say before we bring this sucker to a close?
There's not, man. I mean, if there's one thing I could say, it's just like to everyone like watching or tuning in, just like have hope. Like, yes, it's a crazy time right now. There's also like, there's a lot of like opportunity right now. So just keep moving on, keep your head up. Let your gym owners know, you know, if you consult with gym owners, let them know that it's going to be okay. And like, this is kind of forcing them to pivot.
Yep.
It's actually should end up being like better anyway, because this is a much more profitable model in the long run.
Very cool. We're going to bring this to a close. Don't hang up. Ty, it's been an absolute pleasure. Everyone, this replay will be up. Go kick some ass, take some names, go make some money. See you guys later. Bye.